It's been very important to see Democrats get a fighting spirit back. Also been great to see former Vice President Kamala Harris return to the ring, where we're seeing her calling out Donald Trump. She gave an incredible speech on Thursday. I'll share with you a small portion of that in just a moment as well. I do want to reflect on Donald Trump's post, though, during the campaign, when Donald Trump would post things like this and say things like this at all of his speeches. He wrote, "Voters have a choice, Trump prosperity or the Kamala crash and Great Depression of 2024, not to mention the probability of World War III if these very stupid people remain in office. Remember, Trump was right about everything." He was wrong about everything. And you take a look right here at the markets since Donald Trump took office. You take a look at the Dow, down nearly 7%, the S&P down over 10%, the NASDAQ down over 15%, the Russell 2000 down over 16%. Donald Trump has quite literally ushered in already, although it's not formally labeled as such, a Great Recession, perhaps a Great Depression that is akin to the 1929 style Great Depression. Donald Trump also following the playbook there with the Smoot-Hawley tariffs that we know were problematic causes of a Great Depression, or accelerants as well. So let me just share with you former Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz and other Democrats fighting back. Here, former Vice President Kamala Harris. The end of this, she goes, "I kind of told you so, right? I'm not here to say I told you so, but I kind of did." And she's like, "There are many things that we knew would happen that are happening." Play this clip.
There is a sense of fear that has been taking hold in our country. And I understand it. But we're saying people stay quiet. We are seeing organizations stay quiet. We are seeing those who are capitulating to clearly unconstitutional threats. And these are the things that we are witnessing each day in these last few months in our country. And it understandably creates a great sense of fear. Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
I just think to myself how things would be so different if she was the president of the United States today. But here we are. Here, former Vice President Kamala Harris at the Leading Women Defined Summit also talks about how the progress that had been made in the United States is being intentionally and maliciously rolled back. Here, play this clip.
What has changed since 2016 is that we are in the midst of seeing progress being rolled back, policies that we birthed being rolled back, the terms that we use for what is progress in America being turned into a pejorative, intended to deny the facts and to deny smart policy, by the way, effective policy, by the way, that has been proven to yield a great return on that investment.
So going from former Vice President Kamala Harris to her running mate, Governor Walz, let's take a look at what Governor Walz of Minnesota has to say. He talks about how Donald Trump is stuck in the 80s and bankrupted everything. Play this clip.
It's almost inconceivable. Look, Chris, I don't know. You almost have to be an amateur psychologist on this. It's like Trump is stuck in the 80s. His music, his clothing, his thinking. He has been on this tariff thing forever, and every economist, conservative or liberal, will tell you they just simply don't work. We use them strategically, but he doesn't fundamentally understand how trade works. It goes back to what I continue to say. I think the biggest myth perpetuated on this country is that Donald Trump understands anything about business. He's bankrupt every single one he's been into, and now he's bankrupting this country. So I appreciate you talking about this. This is a tax on working people that we've not seen in any of our lifetimes, and it is going to have dramatic effect.
Here, Governor Walz is asked about Elon Musk calling him a jerk. Play this clip.
And he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep. What a jerk. Like, who derives joy from that?
Are you a creep and a jerk?
Well, that's a badge of honor if he thinks I am. Look, it's not personal with him. Oh, it's a little bit personal. I don't want to be disingenuous. The guy does bother me. It's a little bit personal. But look, my beef on this is that this guy is out there crying about his portfolio and about stock while I'm making, a comment. And my mom's Social Security check this month is late. That he's attacking the portfolios of working Minnesotans and working Americans who've paid into these programs that he calls a Ponzi scheme. He's taking it and laughing with his chainsaw about destroying the lives and undermining things and institutions that make life better for Minnesotans. Of course, he doesn't care about these agencies because he has all this money. Can you imagine being the richest man in the world and taking offense that I said something about Tesla stock?
And here, Governor Walz said, the DNC should probably bring Elon Musk to all the future elections. See what he... So I'm sure he can help the Democrats at this point. Play this clip.
Was a referendum on Elon Musk.
On to higher consumer prices. High corn tariffs increased costs on goods like electronics, appliances, and clothing. 2. Strained U.S.-China relations. Trade tensions escalated into a tariff war. 3. Hurt U.S. farmers. China retaliated with tariffs on soybeans and pork, slashing exports. 4. Federal bailout for farmers. Over $28 billion in aid was issued to offset losses. 5. Disrupted supply chains. Businesses faced delays and rising costs sourcing materials. 6. Lower business investment. Uncertainty caused companies to hold off on expansions. 7. Increased costs for manufacturers. U.S. firms paid more for steel, aluminum, and parts. 8. Mixed effects on jobs. Some sectors gained, e.g. steel, but many lost due to higher costs. 9. Minimal trade. Deficit impact. The overall trade deficit stayed high. 10. Global retaliation. Countries like the EU, Canada, and China hit U.S. exports with counter tariffs, which will be crashed the U.S. economy within a month.
And by extension by Donald Trump. A 10-point win in Wisconsin is an absolute massacre. Remember, this was a 1-point race in November. So I am angry with this guy. I'm glad he's irritated with me. He's a bully. He's picking on people that can't speak up. He's undermining the basic tenets of this country, also that he can, an unelected oligarch run things. It's outrageous. And look, if Donald Trump wants to continue to hang around with him, I certainly think the DNC should think about hiring Elon Musk and send him to every race that we're in, because we will win. We will win.
Well,
I got to give a hat tip as well, though, to Democratic Congress member Jake Auchincloss. You've seen him here on the Midas Touch podcast. You've seen me interview him. I think this guy's a rising star. I really do. I think he is someone who I think lots of people may be sleeping on to even make a presidential run or definitely. I mean, I think he's a great member of Congress, so I'm not even sure if he agrees with what I'm saying here. But take a look at how he messages all of the right-wing podcast bros spreading lies and disinformation. Play this clip.
I mean, I think what we just heard explains and crystallizes the arrogance of these bros that have descended on Washington, D.C. I mean, These professional podcasters stand in front of a bunch of career scientists and say, what has science ever done? Oh, I don't know. Science eradicated measles until 2 months ago. Science means that a kid who grows up with cystic fibrosis now has a real chance at life. Science means that women who give birth now don't face a 1 in 5 chance of dying. They can now build families through IVF. Science is core to who we are as Americans, and their excuse for destroying our scientific enterprise with their conspiracy and quackery is because they're the first ones who ever thought that chronic disease was a problem. Michelle Obama 15 years ago was talking about this. Blue cities like New York City and Philadelphia were doing this, and Republicans were saying, don't touch our French fries. But this guy, all of a sudden, he's the first one to ever realize that chronic disease is a problem. We will not take a lecture from people who are based in conspiracy and quackery and who are claiming the moral high ground on corruption when Brad Smith, who is running health and human services for DOJ, is hiring and firing his own regulators. Main Street Health reports to CMS, and he's deciding who gets to be there or not. This corruption and chaos will not stand. The American people will not stand for it. And Democrats are going to draw the contrast.
As I'm sure you've been seeing, I've been interviewing Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries a lot recently, and here leader Jeffries talks about how again the Trump regime continues over and over again to cause harm on the United States. Play this clip.
It's absolutely right, and the notion that everyday Americans need to absorb pain brought to us by Donald Trump and his group of MAGA billionaires is ridiculous. It's outrageous. Every single one of the House Republicans and Senate Republicans supporting this kind of reckless approach, this unnecessary trade war, need to be thrown out of office and held accountable for the pain that they are intentionally inflicting on the American people. We have to ask the question, this is probably the first time in our history that an American president is intentionally crashing the economy and driving us toward a recession. He didn't tell us about this when he was on the campaign trail last year. They have no mandate for any of this. No mandate to cut Medicaid, no mandate to try to take away Social Security. Certainly, they don't have any mandate to drive this country into a recession, which is going to hurt hardworking American taxpayers and families all across the land.
Want to show you Democratic Congresswoman Ross, and here she talks about how Donald Trump is a sexual abuser. He's someone who's always disrespected the judiciary. I think the way she crystallizes it very plainly and clearly here is great to see. And I think we should be featuring more of her on Midas Touch shows. She's doing great. Play this clip.
Donald Trump's contempt for the judiciary is not new. He has fought civil cases against him because of real estate deals and people he hasn't paid. He's fought victims that he has sexually assaulted and he has been convicted of sexually assaulting. His disrespect for the judiciary is based on his disrespect for anybody who doesn't let him do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And he is very dangerous right now because he is the President of the United States of America. And we are seeing him treat the people of the United States of America the same way he treated those poor contractors he never paid, the same way he treated women who he sexually assaulted. He is doing the same thing to the United States of America.
And of course, you've got Democratic Senator Chris Murphy, who's been incredible leading the fight against MAGA. And here he says, look, we all know that the Hegseths and the Walls are incompetent people, so that's not exactly new news. Play this clip.
Newsflash, these guys are incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, we hired a weekend Fox News host with no diplomatic or management experience, with a checkered personal history of abuse and alcoholism, to be our chief national security official. And it's going very badly. I don't know that anybody could have seen this coming.